This is my first time inside the hallowed walls of Trinity College. Do I get any privileges?
White, male, you have lovely hair as well.
Thank you. Keep my watch in front of me. I shouldn't really be here at all because I haven't the remotest interest in arguing or debating about religion. You know why? Because it's about the most useless activity that anybody could possibly enjoy. At this stage in my life, I'm perfectly happy for any of you to believe whatever you find meaningful in your life, and if it does give you meaning in your life, great. Okay, so I'm starting again. Now, I'll just give one little quote for you. It's from the woman I regard as probably the most perceptive Catholic commentator in this world, an American lady called Joan Chichester. And about a year ago, she was writing about the weariness in the Catholic Church. And this is what she says. She says, weariness is far worse than anger, far more stultifying than mere indifference. Weariness comes from a soul whose hope has been disappointed one time too many. To be weary is not a condition of the body, that's tiredness. No, weariness is a condition of the heart that has lost the energy to care anymore. You ask me, or I'm here to propose that the Catholic Church should be salvaged. If you put my back to the wall, I'd say, do I care? And do you know why? Because there's only one possible reason for the Catholic Church to exist. And it's not to be a moral guide. Not at all. No, one possible reason. To be the instrument for promoting the message of Jesus Christ. That's all. And if it isn't doing that, well, let's get rid of it because it has no other purpose. And if, as Francis has said, if it becomes a moral teacher without the context of the love of God, it's empty and useless. So I felt a lot of the weariness, and a lot of my contemporaries and a lot of the people I work with and know in the church have felt the weariness that Joan talks about. I felt it too. It's already been mentioned, I'm out of ministry for the past 2 years, and that's okay. I'm getting on fine. But which of them was it, Siobhan, that talked about the out-of-date church? Where are you, Siobhan? Oh yes, you're there. The out-of-date structure. What really depressed me about my experience was not that I'm out of ministry. I've had 40 years of it, and I'm 67, I'm retirement age anyway, and I'm having a great life going around the world talking about reform. A whole new life has opened up for me. But what I discovered within the church was a 16th century notion of justice, and that was depressing. They accused me, they passed judgment on me, they declared the sentence before I even knew it was happening. At no stage did I get a chance to speak to my accusers or to defend myself. And if I was to appeal, as a lot of church people said I should, who would hear the appeal? The exact same body that have already done the accusation and passed the judgment. A totally corrupt system that bears no relation to modern notions of justice, of fairness, of human rights. Good night.
If you're telling the church was going to invest and persecute if you raise the child, I'm sure you were speaking out against it.
Sorry, I didn't catch what you said. Can you repeat it? I'm getting a bit deaf at this hour of my life.
If you're telling that if you abuse the child, the church was going to greater lengths to protect you and hear your views than purely speaking out against them.
Okay. Some of the speakers already raised this question. And for me, you see, what's happening with me now, and it's a fascinating position to be in at my stage in life, I'm rethinking a lot of my values and my beliefs. Because up to this point, my religious beliefs all were mediated to me through the church. I belong to a family in which all of us entered religious life. Would you believe that? Can you imagine that? But that's the family I belong to. Now, at this stage, having stood back from the church as I have, I'm beginning to look at everything in a fresh way. And I can tell you this, that is a fascinating thing to be doing at my stage in life. And one of the big questions, some of you raised it, I can't remember which of you are. Can the Christian teaching, the message of Jesus, and I have no doubt still that the message of Jesus is worth preserving and is important for the world. I don't want everybody to accept it or believe it, but I think it has a healthy, good, important message for the world. Can it survive without an institution? That is an enormous question. It's a great question, and I'm certainly struggling with that at the moment, because the institution, right down to the history of the church, has been such an obstacle to the message, and it is very much at the moment. Yeah, sure.
Actually, no, I won't, sorry.
Okay, you'll get your phone. Now, whether the church survives as an institution or not, one thing that will survive is the fundamental human questions. And every one of us will have to grapple with those. At least, I hope every one of us grapples with those. What's the meaning of our lives? What are we here for? Are we here for anything? And what about this whole bloody mystery of death? As I'm getting near to it, it becomes even more of a mystery. They're the fundamental questions. And if religious faith doesn't cast a light on those, forget it. It's useless. I think the church can be salvaged. I'll tell you why. I must be near the end of my time. Jerry already talked about this new pope. It's possible this is going to be very good. It's too early to say, but he's showing signs of some really radical thinking. It isn't that I want to say. What I want to say is this. The crowd that went into that conclave last March were old celibate men, all very conservative because they were all in the image and likeness of John Paul and Benedict who appointed them. And they came out having elected what appears to be a radical thinker. How did that happen? It went totally against common sense. And secondly, Bergoglio. I was going up to Dublin the night he was elected because I was invited to talk in prime time, and I didn't know what to say because I'd never even heard of the guy. I rang a Jesuit friend of mine who knew him. I said, what's this Bergoglio like? I don't like him, he said. He's reactionary, he's conservative, and he's authoritarian. Why did he turn out to seem to be, and I said it's a little bit early to be certain, but the indications are that he's actually going to be the opposite to that. I do believe, as I said to you, I have a couple of fundamental things. One of them is that the message of Jesus is important for the world. The second one is that there is actually some sort of spirit with the church. Because I do think it was a miracle that Bergoglio was elected, and secondly, it was a miracle that Bergoglio turned out to be such a different man to what his history suggested he would be. So maybe, putting all that together, the church can be salvaged, but I hope to God, if it is, that it will make a better job at being an instrument of the message of Jesus than it has done in my lifetime. So I propose the motion.